Y güey. Estoy en corte, pendejo. Estoy en corte.
Fucking water hoses, bro. They sure ain't cheap, ain't it?
Oh, no.
Oh, now he's gonna move.
Hmm?
I told him, man, take your time, dog.
Job was finished. We got it myself.
Oh, they're gonna load that thing, bro.
Es que ahí se juntan todos los tacuaches de todo.
That's what you need a trailer here, ain't it? You always need a trailer. big lawnmowers and all that shit. My daughter bought one, but she don't know where to put it at.
Está bien. Ayer está diciendo también que lo está chapulineando con la ruca. Dije, no, hombre, güey.
¿Quién?
Este güey,
Pinche vieja no vale,
que lo
güey.
está chapulineando. Dice, no, no, la ruca dice que no te llevaba, no estaba al lado. Estaba sola.
¿Eh?
Lo atravesó allá atrás del carro.
¿Lo parqueo de atrás?
Lo atraviesa ahí en el garage.
Dos pendejos.
¿Qué onda, vato? Apenas voy para allá.
Ah, sí,
Sí.
está bien. Es que temprano salieron aquí, ¿verdad?
Sí, va para allá para frente. Dale.
Good morning, Mr. Guerra. Can you hear
Yes,
me?
ma'am.
Yes, please stay muted until your case is called.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Do you want me to put it on,
Sorry, go ahead.
do you want me to put it on mute?
Yes, mute, because we can hear everything that you're saying and you're using foul language. So please stay muted.
Okay, está bueno.
Thank you. Morning, Hector.
Hey Tina, how you doing?
How are you?
Doing good.
Kids all
Doing good.
off to school? All right.
Yeah, tomorrow's the day for my daughter.
Oh, really?
Yeah, take her up, drop her off.
Really?
My
She's gonna
wife's
move
taking
in?
all the tissues.
Oh, man. Yeah.
But we're looking forward to it. I'm glad she's finally gonna get to be there.
Experience, do the whole thing.
Yeah, even though there's we still have COVID, at least she'll be on campus
Mm-hmm.
and get the help she needs. Just the classes are hard, so she needs to have some professors there to help her out.
Yeah. My daughter is the same way. She can't do this online stuff.
Yeah, it's not the same.
Mm-mm.
How's your daughter doing?
She's doing well. She's
That's
doing
good.
well. She came back home and I say she came back to the valley,
Uh-huh.
but she's got her own place. She doesn't want to move back in with mom.
Cool.
And yeah, she's used to her independence now. And
Nice. What a change, right?
it really is. It's so weird. It is.
Good.
But it's good. I mean, I guess I did a good job of getting them out of the house, right?
Yeah, you have to give them, like, they have to get independent, like, start paying your bills, doing your thing,
Mm-hmm.
because it's just a learning process.
Mm-hmm. It is. And I have to remind myself that I was doing the same thing at a lot younger age than she was. So we still think
Yeah.
of them as babies, but they're not.
I know.
But
That's
she
how I
did.
feel about, that's how I feel about my oldest. Like, there's a lot of stuff that I've already done, and she hasn't even, like, thought about,
Mm-hmm.
It's the mindset. They're behind.
Yeah, but they know that we've got their backs. We're right there.
Yeah, true. Very
It-
true.
and I think it just helps them because I remember, I mean, at least for myself, it was always you were always in survival mode, and they at least they don't have that. They can completely concentrate on school and what they need to do,
True.
and that's the goal.
Yeah. Your son, how's he doing?
He's doing well. He decided to take a year off. He made a deal with his father, and he's gonna go over there and shadow his father for a year, learn his businesses and what it takes to run them, that kind of thing, because his father just wants to kind of hand over the businesses to him. And I said, yeah, well, that's great and all, but go to school, get a business degree, do something. I still want you to go to school.
Yeah.
So
You can take that, but still have your degree.
right. So I think that's what he'll end up doing.
What kind of business does his father do?
Oh, he has several businesses that are branched out from trucking
Okay,
in Laredo.
cool.
Import, export, lots of that stuff. Yeah.
There's a lot of money there.
Yes.
I have a couple of friends that do it, and they have a couple of trucks, and just with like about, I think, 10 trucks, they make a lot of money.
Oh yeah.
Just import, export.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It kind of branched out from there because it used to be a trucking a tractor trailer body repair kind of thing, and it just branched out from there.
Cool.
Yeah. I mean, it's been 20 years in the making, so it's really well established, and my ex is looking to pass it on.
Nice.
So we'll see. I mean, I've always seen my son as more of an engineer. I mean, he loves the mechanic stuff, but every summer he would go over there and he'd be a diesel mechanic. He would work on the trucks. And he loves that. He loves getting his hands dirty doing that.
Yeah.
But he says, Dad, I'm ready to do the business side. And so all right. It's yeah. I mean, you know, it's all good for him. He's learning, and he's gonna learn where his place is.
That's good.
I just don't want him to. I mean, his father is of the mindset you don't need college, and yes, that's true. But I don't know. I can't. I still want him to have that degree to fall back on. You know?
Yeah.
But he's
It-
still very young. We'll see
Yeah.
we'll see where he lands.
Yeah, but you get that business degree and then you have your business. You're just more established and more,
More
a better
stable.
base. Yeah,
Mhm.
more stable.
What's really hard is that whatever mom says doesn't really matter anymore. Whatever mom's opinion is doesn't matter anymore. Everybody's an adult, and
Yeah, you can only tell them so much.
mhm, mhm.
I know. My dad and my sister got into it because my sister's not vaccinated.
Oh, really?
Really? So I didn't even know. So my dad, he said, I'm gonna be a good dad. I'm gonna tell you the truth. Of course, she got all mad. So, but he told her, you can't do this. It's too scary.
Yeah. Well, that's a perfect example. I'm talking to my kids. My kids are both adults. I can't make them do anything, and they've had to make their own decisions about whether they're
Yeah.
going to take it, whether they, what they want to do with. Yeah, I can't.
Yeah.
You can only say so much, and ultimately the decision is theirs. You just hope that
Exactly.
you've taught them well enough to make the right ones, and
It's
you
like
can't.
my dad is like, what more do you need to see that, you have to take this shot?
I don't know, Hector. I mean, I've just seen so many people who had it and still got it.
Yeah,
So it's what's the point?
I know. My friend's wife's sister, her husband passed away, and he was 31 years old. They had a baby, like 7 months, a little girl, and he hadn't taken the vaccine, and he got sick. And then he tried to take the first shot, and it was too late. He passed away.
Oh,
This is
that's
shame.
heartbreaking.
31 years old. Feel so bad, but
Yes, yes.
I don't know why people don't take the shot.
But there's so many people who have taken the shot and still got sick. Joe was telling me a sad story about somebody in the sheriff's office who his wife, young, with two small children, she got it, passed away from COVID just like yesterday or the day before. That's so sad, leaving behind a husband and two small kids. And
Yeah,
and there's a court reporter out of Corpus. She was vaccinated, fully vaccinated. She got sick. Thank God she recovered. But she said, "What do you mean I've got COVID?"
yeah.
A lot of people.
I know.
I can't believe it's still this. People are still getting it. People are still dying.
Yeah,
It
I
is
know.
scary.
When it first started, they said it was going to take about 3 years to go through. So we're still going through it.
Yeah. And the numbers are higher here in the valley.
Really?
Hmm. As far
Wow.
as Texas.
Really?
Hmm.
I didn't know that. Are we still getting a hurricane? Have you heard anything?
You know what? I haven't.
They say it was coming this way, but it was too early to tell where it's going to go.
No, I really do need to look into that. Although today's beautiful.
Yeah, it is. All the grasses are green. Everything needs to be cut.
Yes, that's a good thing. But life just goes on.
Yeah.
Life goes on, and eventually you have to send the kids back to school. And
My little boy was like, He wants to do the after school program, and he wants to be in school.
Well, I bet.
Wear your mask, and clean your hands, but he was like just dying to get back, and I was like, be careful, man. Just have a good day. And picked him up yesterday, and he was all excited just to see his friends and just be there.
Well, yeah, I feel sorry for those kiddos that don't have a normal life, don't get to
You know?
have normal school experience.
Yeah. He came out and he was all happy. It was good to see everybody.
Yes, poor kiddos.
Yeah.
Good for him. I mean, are they making them test every week, or are they doing anything like that?
They get their temperature taken when they get dropped off, and then you have to sign like a little questionnaire online, just to indicate that they're not sick and there hasn't been any COVID people in the family, any positive tests. So you do that like on a little questionnaire, and then they get it automatically when you do it on the phone. They get it, and then when you drop them off, he's already checked in.
They have to do this. You have to do this every day?
Yeah, every day. It's pretty quick with that QR thing, because you just take a picture on your phone and the questions come out,
Uh-huh.
and it's questions. Yes, you put no, no, no. I've done it already twice, and they know that he's good to come in. I guess they get like a little signal on their phone, or check off. But
Shoot, that's
yeah,
high
it's been
tech.
weird.
That
What'd you
is
say?
different. I said
Yeah.
that's pretty high tech.
I know.
Not that people won't lie.
Yeah, it's true. But they're taking temperatures and trying their best to get through the school year.
Yeah, just hopefully everyone will be all right. Everyone will. Because your son is under 12, right? He's only
Yeah, he's 9.
9.
He's 9. They say hopefully by December he'll be able to take the shot. So we're getting there.
Does it make you nervous to give it to him?
Nah, I'll give it to him. I'm more nervous that he doesn't have it.
Yeah.
But it's like
Yeah, that's true.
everything, you just pray and hope for the best.
Yeah.
My dad had gotten sick when he got tested, but he came out negative. It was just a good cold.
You got a cold?
Yeah, he was feeling like he had like a cold, so he was like all scared. So he went and got tested right away,
Mm-hmm.
and he was negative. And it was just a regular, he had been going outside and then coming inside, and then going outside and coming inside, where it was cold inside and hot outside at the house.
Mm-hmm.
So it messed him up. Told him just stay inside.
Just stay inside.
Yeah, because he would have it where it was like 72 degrees inside, and then you would go outside and it was like 100.
Mm-hmm.
Stop doing that,
Mm-hmm.
or don't put it so cold inside.
Right. I haven't been sick for a while, but the last time I got sick, it was early on. I had the flu, but this was in the height of everything, and I got spooked. I got scared, and I couldn't believe that I had caught the flu though, with all of the masks and all of the not going anywhere except for HEB, maybe when you need it, and wearing gloves. I mean, I was doing the gloves, I was doing everything, and to
Yeah,
still get sick.
I know. And then my mom would be like, well, you stay in your room, or I'm gonna go and stay in this room. And
Yeah.
she was like, oh, Mo, he's sick, he's got COVID. And I was like, you just gotta go, let's go get the test. So he went that I think that night, but he had to go back in the morning because they weren't doing it anymore. So they were worried, and it's like they did the whole nostril thing, and he was just waiting in his car, and comes back and he shows me, he sent me a picture of the paper and it's just negative. So it's like, everybody can breathe now.
Yes, yes. You can let me in the room.
Yeah, let me back in the house.
Yes, poor guy.
It's looking like more and more like we won't have court till we get to the new courthouse,
Yeah.
like in-person court.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
Can you hear me, Tina?
There, yes, we
Okay.
can hear you now. Good morning.
Good morning, guys. Let me get Judge.
Morning.
Thank you.
You're ready? Ready? Yes.
You learn the importance of hydration.
They did.
No, you raise an objection if they start working at it 3 or 4 in the afternoon. It's like 100 degrees. Ready to go? Thank you, ma'am. Miss Tina, good morning.
Good morning, Your Honor.
You can hear me okay?
Perfectly, Your Honor.
Let me start with the jail cases and call CR 21-06127E, Miguel Ángel Garza Bueno, Mr. Juan Alvarez.
Good morning, Your Honor. Melissa Canales standing in.
Good morning, counsel. How are you doing?
Good, Your Honor. How are you?
I am well. The family okay?
Yes, thank you very much.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. Ms. Gonzalez, good morning.
Spanish speaking for Mr. Bueno, please.
On Miguel Ángel Garza Bueno.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Gonzalez, did I get plea documents for Mr. Bueno?
No, Judge, we're not ready for a plea. I have sent paperwork, but I haven't received it yet.
Your Honor, he was in Brooks County. I see that he's in our county now. Maybe we can go and sign him up today before they take him back.
No, Judge, I need less time than that.
We hadn't been able to sign him up, Your Honor, because he was in
Okay.
Brooks County.
But we've got the plea negotiations addressed.
Yes, Judge.
We've got an agreement.
Yes, Judge.
Clarissa Yasmin Arriaga.
And-
Arriaga has already dubbed her for POM.
Ms.
She's
Gonzalez
hasn't
and
returned.
Ms. Canales, I'm gonna put this out there.
Get it back to you.
I could do the admonishments and take the plea and
then I
leave it
also
leave the judgment pending signature until we get the documents from the prosecution and the defense?
Or
Judge,
deferred.
I would need to staff this with my supervisor. I was given instructions that we should not be taking pleas if we do not have the paperwork executed. If you
Okay.
can recall this case so I can speak to my supervisor.
Well,
Your Honor, in the alternative, Judge, since he's going to plea, Your Honor, and he's not a flight risk, could you give him a PR bond so we could perhaps relieve some of the congestion at the county jail because of all the paperwork issues? And he can plea.
Let me
this
ask
week.
this. Ms. Canales and Ms. Gonzalez, we can probably find a judge that will have Zoom access later today. Would it be possible to get signatures on documents today?
Yes, Your Honor. If they don't take him from the county jail, I can get a signature.
Well, I can ask the deputy or call the jailhouse and ask them to keep Mr. Bueno handy. But I need to have a timeline, más o menos, because I think that there's going to be some Zoom portals available tomorrow for some other court. I'm allowed to use the portals on Tuesdays and Thursdays, but I'm pretty sure that there's a judge that will have access tomorrow if you want to try this tomorrow, and I can ask the jailhouse not to send him back.
Yes, Your Honor. I don't have an objection to that. I think if we can do something like that instead of keep him in jail another week or two for no reason.
All right, Ms. Canales and Ms. Gonzalez, our coordinator, Ms. Guerra, is going to check around and see if we have a court available tomorrow. I'm going to be here, but I don't get to use the jailhouse portals except on Tuesdays and Thursdays. But I'll surely put the burden on Ms. Guerra to see what we can coordinate. And Ms. Guerra will notify Ms. Canales and Ms. Gonzalez. And Deputy, you think we can keep Mr. Bueno local?
They would have to call the jail, Your Honor, to call them back. They usually take them back to Brooks around 2 p.m.
All right, we're going to get a hold of Rolando Garza and ask him to keep Mr. Bueno here so that we can try to take care of him today or tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Canales Ms. Guerra will keep you apprised. Ms. Gonzalez, Ms. Guerra will keep you apprised of the settings.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And we'll call the
Okay.
jailer and let him know to keep Mr. Bueno local.
Your Honor, and we'll go with today at lunchtime, or Mr. Alvarez will, to have him signed up, Judge.
That would be good, because if we can get him set up, we might even be able to find a court with an afternoon setting with the jailhouse, and maybe we can just move your case over to another court if you would have no objection.
No objection, Your Honor.
Well, we'll try to see what we can do, Ms. Canales, and Ms. Guerra will be calling your office to let you know. Ms. Gonzalez will let you know also.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Your Honor, I
Call CR 21-083-11, Luis Carlos Leiva.
He's coming, Your Honor.
Morning, Judge. Arturo J. Garcia for Mr. Leiva.
Mr. Garcia, good morning. Mr. Leiva, can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Garcia, are you ready to proceed?
Yes, Judge, I believe this is set for a plea.
All right. Mr. Leiva?
Yes, sir.
You're going to raise your right hand. You solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir, I do.
You may put your hand down. Is your true and correct name Luis Carlos Leiva?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Leiva, you are before this court charged with the offense of possession of marijuana, possession of a controlled substance, penalty group 3, under 28 grams, that is a Class A misdemeanor. A Class A misdemeanor carries a potential penalty of up to 1 year in jail and up to a $4,000 fine upon conviction. Do you understand that?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
You have the right to an attorney and the right to a trial by jury. You can waive one or both of those rights by signing written documents with this court. At this time, I show you documents and ask you, do you recognize your signature on these documents?
I believe so, Your Honor.
Is that your signature?
Yes, sir.
Did you understand, Mr. Leyva, that by signing these documents, you were telling this court you did not want a trial by jury?
Yes, sir.
Present and participating in this hearing this morning is the Honorable Arturo Garcia. Is he your attorney?
Yes, I don't really recall who my attorney was. I believe so.
Mr.
Yes.
Garcia, were you appointed or retained to represent Mr. Luis Carlos Leyva?
Your Honor, I was appointed and I had a good conversation with Mr. Leyva in the jails. I've met with him and we've spoken at great lengths. I believe he was suffering some withdrawals at the time. So that might be why he might not recognize me. I had my mask on.
All right. Court is going to accept and grant the waiver of trial by jury. Mr. Leyva, have you ever been declared mentally incompetent?
No, sir.
Mr. Garcia, in dealing with Mr. Leyva, do you find him to be mentally competent and able to assist in his defense?
I do, Judge. He is competent and able to assist in his own defense.
Court will find the defendant to be mentally competent to proceed.
He is mentally competent to proceed.
Do you understand, Mr. Leyva, that if the punishment that I assess does not exceed what is recommended by the state and you wish to file an appeal, that you're going to have to come back to this court? Do you understand that?
Yes, sir, I understand. Is it okay if I say something? If not, it's okay.
If you want to file an appeal after we're done with this case, you have to come back to this court to file your appeal. You understand that?
I understand, sir.
And do you understand that this court does not have to accept the recommendation from the state? You understand that?
I understand, sir.
I need to advise you at this time that if you are not a United States citizen, your plea of guilty may result in deportation, exclusion from admission to this country, or denial of naturalization under federal law. Do you understand that?
I understand, sir.
At this time, knowing and understanding all that I've explained to you, to the offense charged, how do you plead? Guilty or not guilty?
I plead guilty, Your Honor.
And are you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily?
Yes, Your Honor.
Or will accept your plea as freely and voluntarily given? I'll call for state's evidence at this time.
State offers plea documents and offense reports as State's Exhibit 1, notification and certification of defendant's right of appeal as State's Exhibit 2, waiver of Article 39.14 disclosures as State's Exhibit 3, and waiver of risk and needs assessment as State's Exhibit 4. State would also request defense counsel stipulate to the venue and jurisdiction of this honorable court. State would further request defense counsel stipulate to the fact that all evidence which has been e-filed is sufficient to corroborate today's plea of guilty.
No objection, Your Honor. So stipulated as to venue and jurisdiction as the evidence as well.
There being no objection, state's exhibits are admitted. Court will note stipulation of counsel on the record. Luis Carlos Leyva, Jr., it is the judgment of this court that you are guilty as charged. Ms. Gonzalez, is there a recommendation or plea bargain?
Yes, Judge, the recommendation is a $200 fine, court costs 180 days, Hidalgo County Jail probated for 1 year, a drug education course, and 20 hours of community service.
Counsel, was that your understanding?
That is my understanding, Judge. However, I'm only going to ask for any consideration towards the fine and the court costs, considering he has served some time in jail, Judge. I don't want that to go unnoticed.
How long has he been incarcerated?
From my understanding, it's been at least 20 days, Judge.
Court is going to accept the recommendation from the state council's request for consideration will be granted. Court is going to waive the court costs. The court is going to waive the community service hours. Court will assess a $200 fine, 180 days probated for 1 year. Mr. Leiva, do you have a telephone number?
I don't have it by memory, but I have my mother's
What is your mother's phone number?
956-998-2629, sir.
Mr. Rodriguez, did you get that?
Yes, Judge.
Okay, Mr. Leiva, Mr. Rodriguez or somebody from the probation department will contact you within the next day or two to make arrangements for your interview. Be looking for that phone call. If you don't get it within the next 2 days, you need to call the probation department and set up an interview.
Yes, sir.
Do you have anything else holding you in jail?
No.
You should be getting out sometime today, Mr. Leiva. Take care of yourself and good luck.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor. May we be excused?
Mr. Garcia, thank you.
That's
Thank you,
it for us, Your Honor. May we be excused?
Deputy, thank you very much. You stay safe also, sir.
You too, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Court is going to call CR 19-08299, Gilberto Alonso Guajardo.
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, Judge. Attorney Alex Guajardo present for the defendant, Mr. Gilberto Guajardo, in this matter. We have a PTD placement for today, Judge.
Yeah. Let me get the documents here. And you're ready to proceed, Mr. Guajardo?
That's Yes, Your correct, Honor. Judge.
All right.
Both.
Where is Gilberto Alonso Guajardo?
Yes, Your Honor.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Your Honor.
You doing okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, good. Let me ask you to raise your right hand for me. You solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, Your Honor.
You may put your hand down. Is your true and correct name Gilberto Alonso Guajardo Jr.?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Guajardo, you are before this court charged with the offense of driving while intoxicated with a blood alcohol concentration of 0.15 or higher. That is a Class A misdemeanor. A Class A misdemeanor carries a potential penalty of up to 1 year in jail and up to a $4,000 fine upon conviction. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
You have the right to an attorney and the right to a trial by jury. Today, you are here on what we call a pretrial diversion. And I have before me documents entitled Court Admonition Pretrial Diversion, Pretrial Diversion Sanctions Available to the Court, Pretrial Diversion Order, Waiver of Speedy Trial, Court Order Granting Personal Bond, Written Admonition on Ineligibility to Possess a Firearm or Ammunition, Waiver of Pre-Sentence Investigation, Trial Court Certification and Notification of Defendant's Right to Appeal, Waiver of Texas Code of Criminal Procedure, Article 3914 Disclosures, Waiver of Risk and Needs Assessment, Discovery Compliance Statement. Did you sign all these documents, Mr. Guajardo?
Yes, Your Honor.
Before you signed them, did you review them and discuss them with your attorney, Mr. Uriel Guajardo?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Gilbert Guajardo, did Mr. Uriel Guajardo explain to you that if you comply with everything on this pretrial diversion order, that the state of Texas, by and through the office of the district attorney and this court, will be willing to dismiss this charge against you?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is there anything on this pretrial diversion order that you feel you cannot comply with?
No, Your Honor.
You can make this go away?
Yes, Your Honor.
I want you to make it go away. Mr. Guajardo and Mr. Guajardo, I am going to set this case for its first status review on the 17th day of February at 10 a.m. On February the 17th at 10 a.m., we will get a report from your supervising pretrial diversion officer, Mr. Guajardo. If the report is positive that you've completed, that you've complied with everything, because of the nature of this offense, and you're probably going to get a second status. If you're doing okay for the first 6 months, you're going to get another 6 month status. And typically, and this is not a promise, but typically, Mr. Guajardo, on the second status, if there's been full compliance and cooperation, you're going to hear the district attorney ask this court to dismiss the charge. And it's done, okay? You just got to follow the rules.
Yes, Your Honor.
I want you to do that, Mr. Guajardo.
Absolutely, Your Honor.
Mr. Uriel Guajardo, anything further on behalf of Mr. Gilberto Guajardo?
No, Judge. Thank you for assessing that and for walking through that. I think we're just going to make some requests, but that'll be once we proceed to the pretrial diversion order, Your Honor.
Well, I've got the pretrial diversion order in place.
Yes.
The review date is going to be, like I said, the 17th of February.
Yes, Judge.
Were you going to request something on behalf of your client?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Gilberto Guajardo is a military service member. He plans to continue his service. On top of that, he is working full time from, my understanding is from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. So it's a little bit hard to have to comply with Roman numeral number 16 in the pretrial diversion order, community service hours. So we'll be asking if that could be waived. In addition to that, my client has completed an alcohol education course, and we just wanted to see if the court could take that into consideration. That could be a waiver of that requirement, number 5 on the pretrial diversion order.
Okay, let me ask you this. How long ago did your client complete the alcohol education class?
That was, let me see. That was on April the 28th of this year.
Okay, Mr. Rodriguez, would that be acceptable?
Yes, Judge, if it's for this DWI, no problem.
All right, Ms. Gonzalez, would that certificate of completion be acceptable?
I believe so, Judge.
Okay, so you got that one, Mr. Guajardo.
Thank you.
And Mr. Uriel Guajardo, the pretrial diversion program, I like to refer to it as the district attorney's baby. I can't mess with their baby. The last time I tried to modify some of the requested items, they were pretty blunt in telling me, if you're going to do that, we're just not going to offer it. But we can get creative. Your client, Mr. Guajardo, is in the military. Is he like National Guard, or what is he?
I was National Guard, Your Honor, and I was on active duty status for about 3 years. And when I got my DWI, I wasn't eligible for active duty status anymore. And I just completed my contract January 22nd of this year. And I planned to re-enlist, but I was ineligible to re-enlist because of my DWI and because I had an active investigation. And I want to continue my military service and hopefully continue active duty as soon as all this is over. And that is my plan for right now.
Okay. Salió caro este DWI, no?
Absolutely. It was nothing but a trial of events that later led on to me basically losing my career.
Mr. Guajardo, I was going to suggest, if you were still going to, National Guard meetings and all of that, maybe the DA could consider that community service. But since you're not, I don't know if Ms. Gonzalez, like I said, the last time I tried to take away community service hours, they were going to take away the pretrial diversion. But it doesn't have to be very difficult. You can find a little league team somewhere and volunteer with the coach or something like that. Just
I'm actually coaching a T-ball team as we speak for the city of Hidalgo. I'm one of the assistant coaches.
There you go, Mr. Rodriguez. Would that be considered community service hours?
Judge, if you can get documentation, we'll take it.
Absolutely.
All right, you're home. So anyway, and Mr. Alex Guajardo,
Yes, Judge.
You may want to visit with Ms. Gonzalez and her supervisor about some consideration. Typically, the DWIs are 1 year pretrial diversion. Typically, sometimes when there are circumstances, they may consider a little bit less. The fact that Mr. Guajardo wants to re-enlist may be something that they could consider, but I despacito visit with Ms. Gonzalez and her supervisor.
Yes, Judge.
You
Thank
have
you.
anything further, sir?
That is all at this time. I appreciate it. Thank you, Judge.
Judge, should we get his phone number?
Mr. Guajardo, Gilbert, do you have a phone number?
Yes, Your Honor. It's going
What
to
is
be
it?
956-410-4109.
410-4109.
Yes, Your Honor.
You got that, Mr. Rodriguez?
Got it, Judge.
All right, Mr. Guajardo, somebody from the probation department will contact you. Make this go away, sir.
Yes, Your Honor.
And thank you for your service.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Mr.
Appreciate the
Guajardo,
support.
Mr. Guajardo, both of you stay safe. And we'll see you here on the 17th of February.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge. May I be excused? Is that the sign, the notification?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. You take care.
You as well.
Court is going to call CR 20-4726 Jorge Guerra, Mr. Jose Antonio Gomez. Ms. Tina, has Mr. Gomez checked in?
No, Your Honor, he has not.
Okay. We have Mr. Guerra. Mr. Guerra, we're going to wait for your attorney to show up and then call you again.
He's on mute, Judge.
Let me call CR 20-11781 Brenda Carrizales. Mr. J.R. Ramirez.
Yes.
Morning, Judge.
Mr. Ramirez, good morning.
Morning.
You doing okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. I think I got Ms. Carrizales on board also. Ms. Carrizales, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
How are you doing?
Good.
Good. Let's keep it that way. Ms. Carrizales, let me ask you to raise your right hand for me. I think she froze up.
Uh-oh.
Ms. Carrizales, can you hear me? Yeah, she froze up.
Yeah. Okay, let me see if I can, let me have the staff caller.
Okay. You want me to recall your case in just a little bit?
Yes, sir.
All right, I can do that. Let me call the next case on the docket. Well, the next case is Mr. Gomez's case. Let me move on to some of the civil cases and call CL 21-0719E Toyota Motor Credit Corporation versus Alejandro M. de la Torre. Ms. Tina, did Mr. Lanston check in? Oh, I got a note that the hearing has been passed. Let me call CL 21-1903, Diego Gonzalez versus South Texas Towing and Recovery.
Good morning, Your Honor. Jonathan Almanza on behalf of defendant South Texas Towing and Recovery.
Good morning, counsel. I see that Mr. Franz is also on my screen.
Yes, Your Honor. Good morning. Here for Diego Gonzalez, Your Honor.
Good morning, Mr. Franz. Mr. Franz, Mr. Almanza has announced he is appearing on behalf of South Texas Towing and Recovery. I have this on a motion to compel. Have you and Mr. Almanza had a chance to confer?
Very briefly, Your Honor. However, the issue is he continues to lodge objections. A couple of weeks ago, when you set this matter for a status hearing, Mr. Mesa indicated he was going to try and get an attorney. And as you had warned him at the initial appearance and again 2 weeks ago, that it was very important to get an attorney, he did get Mr. Almanza, and that's a good thing. However, Judge, you had already ruled that he was to comply with the discovery requests, and the objections were stricken at the last hearing because they were not timely filed. So I've not received responses to interrogatories, and this morning, Mr. Almanza served me with responses to requests for production. However, he continues to object to the production of certain items. Number one, the objections have been waived, and even if they weren't waived, Judge, the information that I'm seeking is discoverable. So we can go down those items one by one, and you can rule on them, but the fact is, the objections were not timely made, and because they were not made within 30 days of the date that the discovery requests were served on the defendant, the objections have been waived. And none of the information that we've requested is privileged information. We're not seeking anything involving attorney work product or attorney-client communications. So I'll do as the court requests.
Yeah. Mr. Almanza, the first appearance that we had on this matter, your client appeared pro se, and I believe I admonished him on representing himself and told him that even though he was representing himself, he would be held to the same standard of, you know, as a licensed attorney. And I believe on the first hearing, he still had a little window of time to file responses. And I believe I gave a little extension. Objections were waived because they were not timely filed. Mr. Franz filed a motion to compel. And I'm hearing from Mr. Franz that the requested items that you're raising objections to are discoverable anyway. So let me,
may I respond, Your Honor?
Yeah, Mr. Almanza, what?
May I respond to Mr. Franz's statement? I do think that there's a bit of a miscommunication regarding why my objection, what I'm objecting to specifically, Your Honor. So I provided another response and objections to the motion to compel, Your Honor. This appeal is governed by statute. The equivalent would be like an eviction appeal from a JP court. The rules for this appeal are governed by that statute, which I provided in a response, Your Honor. None of this discovery and his amended pleadings are proper. It's a trial de novo, Your Honor. So I filed the statutes and case law regarding the fact that my objections, and I only withheld the tax returns, Your Honor. He's asking for 3 years worth of tax returns. That's the only thing I objected to. Everything else I provided the request for admissions, even though I don't think the discovery was proper. And I'm gonna get the ROGs in today. I'm just waiting for the verification. What I was talking to Mr. Franz about was the only issue that I had, Your Honor, was the rules say, and the Court of Appeals say that this is a trial de novo and that the rules are governed by the same injustice court. There's only 4 issues that this court has jurisdiction to hear. So we should just be set for trial on what's on the record and the pleadings on file. But Mr. Franz has amended to add additional complaints, DTPA complaints, none of which are proper, which should be severed out. So I agree. If Mr. Franz wants to proceed with the DTPA claim and other litigation, and he wants to request those records responsive to that, well, then we'll have that, that at that time. But this is an appeal of a final judgment on a JP court pursuant to 2308 of the Texas Occupations Code. And it specifically says that the rules are governed by the same procedures set forth in justice court, right? So just like in an eviction, Your Honor, when the appeal comes up, they then can't amend their claims and add new claims and new lawsuits just because there was an appeal. And in my response, I did cite the statute. I did cite both statutes that govern this. And so my objections were I had to object with it's tax records, Your Honor. I don't think it's relevant, but my objection to the entire motion to compel, even though I did in good faith respond and provide, is that this is a trial de novo on the merits of what was on file with the JP court. The court has limited jurisdiction based on the statutes, and Mr. Franz's DTPA and additional fraud claims that he amended after the appeal are not proper in this matter.
Your Honor, Mr. Almanza's representations are not reflections of what the law permits. The tow hearing emanates from what we consider an illegal tow involving excessive charges. Out of that same incident, Judge, that very same incident, we are claiming that fraud was committed in that the defendant tow truck company and tow owner cheated Mr. Gonzalez by charging him for services not rendered and forced him to pay by saying, I've got your truck. Every day that you leave your truck here is another $20. So basically like the Fram oil commercial, you pay me now or you pay me later. So under duress, my client was forced to pay to mitigate his damages and stop the bleeding. Now, there is nothing in the law that precludes my client from adding claims in addition to the relief requested under the tow hearings, because they all emanate from the same wrongful conduct of the tow truck driver and this tow truck company. Now, if he wants to move to sever the causes of action and show the court good cause for doing so, we can cross that bridge later. But at this moment, Judge, I am entitled to this discovery. You've already ruled that the objections were waived. We're seeking exemplary damages from this man for cheating the public. And as such, we're entitled to know his net worth. We're entitled to get profit and loss statements for the business and IRS returns. That's in the case law. And so, Judge, I'm asking for the things that any attorney would ask for in a case where additional damages are being sought because of wrongful conduct. This has all been pled. And now to logic, try and attempt to object to it a third time, it's not warranted, Judge.
I'm not objecting, and we're not here to argue on the merits of the case, Your Honor, right? That's for trial. Regardless of what his allegations are, that's not what we're here today, Your Honor. And I responded to discovery. The issue is I did cite statute. Mr. Franz is saying that I cited directly the statute in my response that specifically says how these appeals are governed. There's no interpretation here, Your Honor. This isn't now whether or not those objections were waived on his new claims. My issue is that the appellate procedure for these appeals govern what issues are brought before an appeal and what the rules of discovery are on these matters. And it does not apply in this case.
Mr. Almanza, I've always looked at appeals from JP court as a trial de novo. It's a new trial. Anything that happened with the incident giving rise to the JP court, if it's appealed, it comes to the county court for a new trial. Now, if there was something that arose out of this incident that Mr. Franz included in the appeal, I think it comes out of the same incident. It comes out of the same transaction.
And I agree, Your Honor. Had this been like a breach of contract case, a small claims case, I agree, Your Honor. But that's not what this case is. This is a 452 tow hearing, right? So The statute of appeal is not a general statute. It's a specific statute for these 452 hearings. So Mr. Franz pled everything he did in JP court. He won on JP court. He got a final judgment. And this was appealed under 452, right? A chapter 452 toll hearing. And it specifically says what the court can consider. Now, it does not mean that Mr. Franz doesn't have additional claims and that they're not ripe and that he can't then sue my client for them. All I'm saying is in this matter, Your Honor, in order to simplify it, and in order to get this case done, I don't believe that this is proper. The statute and the case law say it's not. Now, I did ask Mr. Franz for some time to negotiate to see if we can just get this case resolved. He was not willing to give me additional time. I was just retained 11 days ago, 12 days ago. And like I said, all the discovery provided, it's literally just the tax returns. I was hoping to be able to work it out with Mr. Franz. I've requested a meeting. So what I was asking, Your Honor, was if the court would just give us 30 days to work it out to see if we can get this case taken care of. And then if the court wants me to provide additional case law and a full brief on the merits that jurisdictional arguments are not waivable, Your Honor. The Court of Appeal, the Supreme Court says that the jurisdictional issues related to a statute-specific appeal is not waivable. So the objections, I agree, Your Honor. But my main issue is that this case has become a bit of a monster. And I'm here now, Your Honor. I'm going to simplify it. My client should not have been pro se. I appreciate you giving him that advice because he was just getting himself into more trouble in this situation. And I want to take care of this case, Your Honor. I want to do it the right way. I'm just trying to get familiar with the case. And I'm finally up to the point to where I think we can work this out. But Mr. Franz is asking for depositions, subpoena third parties, all this kind of making this more. And I understand he's asking for attorney fees. So he's trying to get those attorney fees. But if we allow us 30 days to work this out, Your Honor, I'm going to provide matches to the ROGs. The only thing withheld is the Your Honor. I can provide those to the court under a privilege log. We can work this out, Your Honor, but I don't think a motion to compel is necessary right now when everybody's making a good faith attempt to respond. And I do believe my arguments have merit regarding the 452, as this is not a regular JP court appeal. It's by statute specifically, Your Honor.
Judge, I'm happy to respond to any brief, but he's misstating something. I did not refuse to discuss resolution. I refused to pass this hearing. He asked for a 30-day pass. And based on the history with this defendant, based on the pandemic situation, the uncertainty of when, if ever, we're going to get to trial, Judge, and the fact that he continued to lodge objections to information that you had already ordered Mr. Mesa to produce on or before today, I said, no, Mr. Almanza, I cannot pass the hearing. But at no time have I said I'm not willing to talk. We're always willing to talk, Judge. I did tell him that because we're jumping through all these hoops, it's not going to be as easy to resolve this matter for the dollar amounts that we could have resolved it at the initial stages. There's going to be attorney's fees, but we can talk and maybe we can resolve it. But as long as we don't apply pressure, Judge, you know how it is as a trial lawyer. People don't get serious about settling till they see the white of the jury's eyes.
And Mr. Franz, I believe I heard Mr. Almanza say that he had sent discovery off or responses earlier today, Mr. Almanza. Is that what I heard?
The only thing that I have not filed that are done, I'm just waiting for my client to come in to verify, is the ROGs. So disclosures were filed, admissions were filed, and production was filed, and those were provided to Mr. Franz. And I'll have the ROGs filed by 2 p.m.
When? So Mr. Franz should get that sometime today or early tomorrow?
Yes, Your Honor. He'll have it today, Your Honor, no doubt.
All right. Mr. Franz, it sounds like Mr. Almanza is trying to provide what you requested. I think he understands that objections are no longer there. And most of the stuff that you're requesting is discoverable anyway. I would like to give counsel an opportunity to flesh this thing out a little bit and confer.
That's fine.
Mr. Franz and Mr. Almanza, I've always said it, good things happen when counsel confer. So I don't know if I should carry this motion forward another 30 to 45 days and let you gentlemen confer and visit and share and see if we can meet somewhere in the middle ground?
I would appreciate that, Your Honor. That I would be amenable to that, Your Honor.
And
Would
I
that
am,
work for you? Mr.
That-
Franz, would that be okay?
yes, Your Honor. However, I am requesting depositions. So if his client is serious about settlement, I've not received a response. The deadline for providing me with dates for depositions has passed. So I indicated if I didn't get amenable or workable dates from Mr. Mesa, that I was going to issue the notices, but then I suspect that we'll get a motion to quash and we'll be back before you. So I'm willing to work with Mr. Mesa, but I am insisting on going forward with discovery. I want the tow truck driver's deposition, Justin Hassel. And in the meantime, if they want to talk settlement, we're happy to talk.
Okay.
I'll give him deposition dates within the next week, Your Honor. I'll give him.
I know both of you gentlemen, and I know both of you to be reasonable, and I know that good things are going to happen. I'm going to carry this motion forward to September 28th at 10:30. That ought to give you a little window of opportunity to flesh it out, get some discovery, confer. And if we need to have another hearing on any issues or matters, counsel, that's what I'm here for.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And I look forward to working with Mr. Almanza on this. Hopefully we can.
Mr. Almanza, Mr. Franz, both of you gentlemen, be safe. Take care.
Thank you, Your Honor. You have a nice day.
You too, sir. Court is going to call CL 21-2402 In re Pedro Bueno. Mr. Vasquez.
Yes, Your Honor. Good morning, Your Honor. Gilbert Vasquez on behalf of Mr. Pedro Bueno.
How you doing, Mr. Vasquez?
I'm doing good. How are you, Your Honor?
I am well, thank you.
Good. I am applying for a occupational license for my client, Your Honor. Pedro Bueno should be online, Your Honor.
Mr. Pedro Bueno,
Yes, sir.
how you doing?
Doing fine, sir.
Good. Good. Mr. Vasquez, why
Yes.
did Mr. Bueno lose his license?
Your Honor, he has two DWIs pending right now, Your Honor, and we are trying to work those out. We're trying to get him into the DWI court, Your Honor, and he does not have a license at this time, and he needs it in order to be considered as part of the program, Your Honor.
Okay. Ms. Gonzalez from the DA's office, this is a civil matter, but I usually like to ask the district attorney's office if they would have any objection to Mr. Bueno getting an occupational license.
Judge, I did have an opportunity to look at the petition with my supervisor. We are opposed. We just think the petition needs a little tweaking. So we would request that if the defendant is granted an occupational driver's license, he be ordered to obtain a mobile alcohol monitoring device. And in addition, the part of the petition that lists counties, I believe there are some missing counties. He does list Hidalgo, Cameron, Starr, Willacy, Bexar, Travis, and Harris County. However, to travel to Harris County from Hidalgo County, I believe he needs to go through, Brooks. He needs to list the counties that he will be traveling to.
And Ms. Gonzalez, why is the DA's office requesting a mobile and not an interlock?
I believe we're requesting the mobile, Judge, because there was an accident involved in one of the DWIs. The defendant did crash into a ditch. But I think an ignition interlock device would be sufficient.
Your Honor, and he does have a device at this time, Your Honor, because of the DWIs.
All right.
And as far as, and I'll go ahead and let Mr. Bueno clarify this, but I think really we kind of put those counties in there, but he's more concerned about Hidalgo County, Willacy, and Cameron, Your Honor, just the surrounding ones. I'll go ahead and I'll ask him right now, but we can add them, and if not, well then we'll withdraw them from the order granted, Your Honor.
Well, Mr. Vasquez, I believe that if he's got the interlock, certain concessions are made by the state, but I'll let you look into that. Mr. Bueno.
Yes, sir.
Let me ask you to raise your right hand. You solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
You may put your hand down. Mr. Vasquez, if you wish to ask Mr. Bueno some questions, you may proceed.
Yes, Your Honor, thank you. Mr. Bueno, good morning. I have a question. Now, you have not requested an occupational license ever, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, and you need this occupational license that you are requesting for your necessities, your private and family necessities, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And by necessities, I'm talking about like your household duties. For example, buying groceries, paying bills, taking family members or yourself to run errands for the household. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And you're asking this court issue this occupational license between the hours of 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you understand that you cannot drive outside of those hours, correct?
Yes.
And at this time, you do have an interlock or a mobile device?
Yes.
Okay, which one do you have?
I don't know how you call it. This little thing.
Is it a portable? Okay, a portable mobile device. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think so. It's a little machine. Huh?
Can you repeat that?
Oh, it's a little machine. I don't know how you call it. I mean.
Okay, let me clarify for the court and for the state and our court reporter. So you have to blow into that every so often, correct?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And that is part of the DWI cases that we have, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me see. Now, what counties do you want to make sure that this occupation license is for?
What
do you want it
county?
in Hidalgo County?
Yeah.
Yes. Do you want it for Cameron County? Do you know what Cameron County is? What is included within Cameron?
No, I don't
South
know.
Padre Island? South Padre Island?
Okay. Yeah, but around here, you know, I can't use it, you know.
And Mr. Vasquez,
Yes,
we're
sir.
assuming South Padre Island because he'll be working over there? Because this
No,
is an
Your
occupational license for jobs and necessities.
Yes, Your Honor. And if he would like to take his family to a nice lunch or dinner, or just to relax, or even for a job opportunity, I don't want to limit him, Your Honor, in case he does get a job out.
It's called an occupational license for a reason.
Yes, Your Honor.
So let's not start going and having fun and enjoying an alcoholic beverage.
No, Your Honor.
The family and things of that nature.
No, Your Honor. No. I was just trying to remind him of what was in Cameron County, Your Honor. But that, I think we'll just ask for the surrounding counties, Your Honor. We will eliminate anything having to do with San Antonio or Houston, or I'm sorry, Travis or Harris County or Bexar County, Your Honor.
Okay, it'll be approved. And part of the condition of approval is that the interlock device remain on the vehicle. Mr. Bueno.
Yes, sir.
You get stopped driving a car that doesn't have the machine on it, you're probably going to get arrested. Okay. So if you're going to be driving a car, make sure it's the one that's got the machine on it where you have to blow before it starts.
Your Honor, if I may, Your Honor, he has a mobile device, Your Honor.
Oh, he's got a mobile device?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right.
Portable
And Ms. Gonzalez, you said you had no objection to a mobile device?
No objection, Judge.
All right. But Mr. Vasquez, as I previously mentioned, the state will make certain concessions on an occupational license if it's got a GID on it.
Okay.
So I think they removed the 12-hour time limit.
Okay.
So if he needs to drive at weird hours because of a job, you may want to visit with your client and weigh the alternatives. But if you're going to get him into DWI court, I don't think they're going to be picky about whether an interlock or a mobile alcohol monitoring device. As long as Mr. Bueno has some type of monitoring, the court is okay with the occupational license.
Great. Thank you very much, Your Honor.
It'll be
Judge.
granted. Yes, Ms.
I
Gonzalez.
just wanted to ask real quick, the petitioner's occupation, Mr. Vasquez?
Mr. Bueno, what do you do for a living?
I'm not working right now, boss.
When you do work, what kind of work do you do?
Sometimes I work outside construction. Like when people need help out, you know, like people I know, they call me and, you know, I go help them out.
Okay. Mr. Bueno.
Yeah.
At the probation department here in Edinburgh, there's a lady there by the name of Mrs. Trejo. Mrs. Trejo's job is to find jobs for people. And she'll help you even though you may not be on probation yet, but she'll help you if you tell her that Judge Cantu asked you to visit with her. And not only will she help find you a full-time job, she can also talk to you about getting into school. They have schooling available. If you're working construction, they can send you to electrician school. They can send you to plumbing school. They can send you to welding school. There's all kinds of schooling available. And some of these jobs in electrical and plumbing, Mr. Bueno, pay really well.
Yes, sir. Hey, I was
So-
gonna ask you, boss, because I don't know if I probably go up north because como mejor my nephew helped me out to get a job up north. How does it work with my license? Como you're saying right now.
Talk to your attorney about that. You may need some kind of authorization to leave Hidalgo County, but visit with Mr. Vasquez. He can kind of guide you through that. But Mr. Bueno, I saw a job advertisement for an electrician offering $28 to $30 an hour.
Oh, yeah?
Here in the Valley.
That sounds good.
Well, it's real good. And I'm telling you, if you call the Hidalgo County Probation Department, ask for Mrs. Trejo.
Hidalgo Department Trejo.
Mrs. Trejo at the Probation Department. La señora Trejo can talk to you about getting into these schools.
Okay.
So that's up to you. I can't force you to do it, but it's there. She hooks you up maybe with a night school or something. You can work during the day and go to school at night. $30 an hour, Mr. Bueno. It's good money.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Vasquez, you'll submit the order?
I will, Your Honor.
All right. You have nothing further, Mr. Vasquez?
I do not, Your Honor. May I be excused?
Yes, sir. Ms. Gonzalez, you have nothing further?
No, Judge.
All right. Mr. Vasquez, Ms. Gonzalez, Mr. Bueno, cuídense. You be safe.
You too. Your Honor. Thank you.
Court is going to call F-22-19-21-5 in the matter of the marriage of Melissa Rios and Martin Raul Martinez.
Judge, good morning. Tim Davis for Melissa Rios.
This is the final hearing, Mr. Davis?
Yes, sir, Judge. We're on your docket for final. It's actually a default divorce. And I would request before we begin that the court take judicial knowledge about documents in the court's file.
Court will take judicial notice of all documents in the court's file. Is Ms. Rios present?
Yes, she's on. It says Melissa Garcia Martinez. That's what her little box says.
Oh, I see her now. Good morning.
Good morning, Judge.
You doing okay?
Yes, sir. First day of school.
Let me ask you to raise your right hand for me.
Yes,
You
sir.
solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir. I do.
You may put your hand down. Mr. Davis, court will take judicial notice of all documents in the court's file. The witness has been sworn. You may proceed.
Thank you, Judge. The court's file reflects that the respondent in the case, Martin Raul Martinez, has been served with citation and petition, and the return of service has been returned to the court's file. It's been on file for at least 10 days, and there has been no answer filed on behalf of Mr. Martinez. Ma'am, can you please state your full name for the record?
Melissa Ann Garcia Rios.
Okay, and you are married to Martin Raul Martinez, correct?
Yes, sir.
And prior to you filing this petition for divorce, you had lived in Hidalgo County for at least 90 days and the state of Texas for at least 6 months, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you and your husband were married on or about January 7th of 2014, and y'all separated on January 5th of 2021, correct?
Yes, sir.
And during the time of your marriage to Mr. Martinez, there were no children that were either born or adopted, correct?
Correct.
And you're not presently expecting a child, correct?
Correct.
Okay. During the time of y'all's marriage, however, y'all did accumulate what's referred to as a marital estate property, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and with respect to the property division, you're asking the court to award you as your sole and separate property, the house and lot that is located at 3910 Fika Drive in Weslaco, Texas, correct?
Yes, sir.
And that is, you're also asking that as part of the decree, that we will provide the full legal description of the property and ask the court that the decree be treated as what's called a muniment of title as far as indicating your ownership of that property, correct? Okay. You're also asking the court to award you any items that are in the house, including any furniture and appliances, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you're asking with regard to the vehicle, you're asking the court to award you as your property, your 2018 Toyota Highlander, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and then with regards to you and your husband have 2 Winchester gun safes, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you're asking that you be awarded one, the smaller one, and he be awarded the larger one, correct?
Correct, sir.
And with respect to any financial accounts, including bank accounts, retirement, pension, 401ks, you're asking that you be awarded any and all that are in your name, and that your husband be awarded any and all that are in his name, correct?
Correct, sir.
And you're also asking with regard to each of you that any personal property, jewelry, clothing, etc., that is in your possession will go to you, and same thing with them. Any in his possession will go to him, correct?
Correct, sir.
Okay, and then with regards to your husband's items that are being awarded to him, there are 4 different Harley-Davidson motorcycles, correct?
Correct, sir.
And they're being awarded 100% to him, correct?
Correct, sir.
And that's a lot. In addition, his 2009 Toyota Tundra and the 2014 covered wagon, that's a trailer, they're being awarded to him as well, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And with regards to any debts that you and your husband may have, you're asking the court to assign any debt that is in your name or associated with any property you're being awarded, that debt go to you, and the same thing for your husband. Any debt in his name, any debt on any property he's being awarded, that'll be assigned to him, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And with regards to the real estate, the house, you're also asking the court to enter an order requiring your husband to execute any documents that may be necessary for you to transfer the house, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you're asking the court to grant the divorce, correct?
Yes, sir.
And just on the record, are you requesting a name change in the divorce or no?
Yes, sir.
And what are you requesting that your name be changed to?
I am requesting that my name to be changed to Melissa Ann Garcia.
Okay.
I am currently only going under Rios, because that is what all my teacher certifications are under.
Okay, so you want a name change to Melissa Ann Garcia, correct?
Yes, sir, correct.
Okay, is there anything else you're asking for the court to award today?
No, sir. That
All
is a complete list.
All right, Judge, I think that that is all. We'll get the decree to you within a day or two. And I think for the record also, we have filed, oh, I do need to ask her a couple things, Judge. We have filed affidavit, certificate of last known address and an affidavit of non-military status. But Ms. Garcia, with regard to your husband, he is not presently on active duty with any branch of the United States military, correct?
Correct, sir. He is not military.
Okay. He is, however, employed by a private contractor doing some government work overseas, correct?
Yes, sir. That is correct.
Okay, but he is not active duty or active reserves with any branch of the United States military, correct?
Yes, sir. That is correct.
Okay. That's all, Judge. Just wanted to cover that on the record.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. Let me clarify something with my court reporter. Ms. Fassi, did Martin Raul Martinez check in?
No, Your Honor, he did not.
All right. Mr. Davis, having taken judicial notice of all documents in the court's file, divorce is granted. Ms. Garcia, everything requested in open court and in your decree will be ordered. Good luck to you.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Davis, you'll submit the decree?
Yes, sir, Judge. We'll get it to you shortly.
Yes, sir. Both of you stay safe, okay?
You too, Judge.
Thank you,
Thank you.
sir.
Thank
Have a
you.
good day.
You too. Ms. Fassi, I've got another criminal case pending, but before I go into that, did Mr. Tony Gomez check in?
No, Your Honor, he has not.
Let me reset Mr. Jorge Guerra's case for Thursday at 10 a.m. Mr. Guerra. Mr. Guerra, can you hear me? Jorge Guerra.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Guerra, we
Sure.
can't find you. We can't find your attorney. He may be in a trial somewhere else or another hearing.
Yes, sir.
Not to keep you waiting any longer, I'm going to reset your case for Thursday, 2 days from today.
Okay.
At 10 o'clock, jueves a las 10 de la mañana.
Okay. Same time.
Yes, sir. Same time, 10 o'clock Thursday. We'll try to get a hold of Mr. Gomez.
Okay, sir. I'll be there.
Thank you, sir.
Have a good day.
You too, sir. Court is going to call or recall CR 20-11-781, Brenda Carrizales.
She's back on.
I'm right here. Sorry about that.
That's okay. I can hear you well now. Ms. Carrizales, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, let me ask you to raise your right hand. You solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
You may put your hand down. Is your true and correct name Brenda Carrizales?
Yes.
Ms. Carrizales, you are before this court charged with the offense of driving while intoxicated. That is a Class B misdemeanor. A Class B misdemeanor carries a potential penalty of up to 6 months in jail and up to a $2,000 fine upon conviction. Do you understand that?
Yes.
You have the right to an attorney and the right to a trial by jury. Today, you are here on what we call a pretrial diversion. And I have before me documents entitled Court Admonition, Pretrial Diversion Sanctions Available to the Court, Pretrial Diversion Order, Waiver of Speedy Trial, Court Order Granting Personal Bond, Waiver of Pre-Sentence Investigation, Written Admonition on Ineligibility to Possess a Firearm or Ammunition, Waiver of Texas Code of Criminal Procedure, Article 3914, Disclosure, and Waiver of Risk and Needs Assessment. Did you sign all of these documents?
Yes.
before you signed them, did you review them and discuss them with your attorney, Mr. J.R. Ramirez?
Yes, sir.
Did he explain to you, Ms. Carrizales, that if you comply with everything on this court's pretrial diversion order, that the state of Texas, by and through the office of the district attorney, will be willing to dismiss this charge against you?
Yes, sir.
Is there anything on this pretrial diversion order that you feel you cannot comply with?
No.
You can make this go away?
Yes.
I want you to make it go away. Ms. Carrizales and Mr. Ramirez, I am going to set this case for status on the 17th day of February 2022 at 10 a.m. On that day, Ms. Carrizales, you will appear with your attorney, Mr. Ramirez, and we're going to get a status. Your pretrial diversion officer will let us know how you're doing. If you're doing well and you're following all the rules, because of the nature of the offense, you're probably going to get a second status. But if everything is going good on the second status and you've complied with everything, you're probably going to hear your pretrial diversion officer make a recommendation to the DA to dismiss, and the DA will recommend that to the court, and the court will probably dismiss your case.
Okay, thank you.
You just got to follow the rules. You have any questions, Ms. Carrizales?
No, right now.
All right. Our probation officer, Mr. Hector Rodriguez, is on the screen at this hearing. He's going to need your phone number. Do you have a phone number?
Yes, 956-458-3650.
Did you get that, Mr. Rodriguez?
Yes, Judge.
All right. Ms. Carrizales, I want you to know
Yes, sir.
not everybody gets a pretrial diversion. Your attorney, Mr. Ramirez, had to work extra hard to get you there. I want you to take advantage of his hard work, and I want you to make this go away. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Good luck to you. Mr. Ramirez,
you.
nothing further?
No, sir, nothing further.
All right. Both of you stay safe and good luck.
Yes, sir. Take
Thank
care.
you.
Ms. Gonzalez, nothing further from the state?
Nothing further, Judge. May I be excused?
You stay safe also, Ms. Gonzalez.
You too, Judge. See you tomorrow.
Thank you. Ms. Tina, back to the civil stuff or the civil docket. Court is going to call F-2288-21-5 in the matter of the marriage of Antonio de Santiago versus Cynthia de Santiago. Counsel have submitted a Rule 11. The hearing has been passed. Court will call F-3103-21-5 in the interest of Atrius Gomez, a child. Mr. Ramos.
Good morning, Your Honor. Juan Ramos here on behalf of Mr. Carlos Gomez.
Who is the respondent in this matter?
It's Miss Beddoes, Your Honor.
I'm here.
Hi, Ms. Beto. Good
I
morning.
actually have Carlos Gomez here. He's not able to get on the Zoom video chat. He's been trying to contact with his attorney, but for the past 4 or 5 weeks now, and his attorney refuses to call him back. He hasn't received anything. We haven't been able to get past the front desk with speaking with them. So he's here on the video chat. I don't know if you're able to speak with him this way.
Well, let me see. Mr.
Your Honor,
Mr. Carlos
I
Gomez,
may-
can you hear me? I cannot hear you.
He says he can hear you.
Okay. Mr. Ramos, were you going to have an announcement today?
Yes, Your Honor, and actually, so I'd be happy to file with the court. We've actually sent out emails to Mr. Gomez's email that he has on file. But as the court's aware, at the last hearing last week, Ms. Beddoes' attorney withdrew, Ms. Cynthia Del Bosque. And so I was also informed that Mr. Gomez might also be, he might be terminating my services because that they potentially had an agreement. And we have a policy to require that kind of termination to be in writing because it's not uncommon for clients to waiver or change their mind. And so we
Okay.
asked for that clarification from Mr. Gomez on August 10th.
Okay. Ms. Beto, you can hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. Mr. Gomez, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. I can't hear you. I can hardly hear you, Mr. Gomez, but Mr. Ramos advises me that perhaps you and Ms. Beto have kind of worked things out. And
Yes, sir. We're trying to, we are trying to do a mutual agreement right now. We don't know who ordered the temporary custody arrangement. Mr. Gomez is at work right now because his attorney never even notified him about today.
well, Mr. Ramos notified the court that he has sent out several emails. I'm concerned that maybe it's not the correct email. Sometimes it happens, but Ms. Beto, ask Mr. Gomez if he wants to let Mr. Ramos go.
The judge wants to know if you want to let Mr. Ramos go.
Yes, I do.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, Mr. Ramos is going to need something from Mr. Gomez in writing saying, Mr. Ramos, thanks for the help, but I don't need it anymore. Ask Mr. Gomez if he can send Mr. Ramos a letter.
Can you send him a letter or an email?
A letter or an email? Yes, I can.
Yes, he can.
Okay.
He did receive the email that they're talking about on August 10th, but his phone didn't tell him that he got it until yesterday. But there was nothing that mentioned the court date about today.
Okay, but if I'm understanding things, it sounds like you and Mr. Gomez are working things out. And Mr. Ramos is saying, I'm willing to get out of the case, but I need something in writing from Mr. Gomez. Maybe you guys can make that happen. Ms.
Yes, sir.
Beto, you and Mr. Gomez have but one child,
Yes, sir.
Atreus.
Atreus.
Okay, how old is he?
He's 8 months old.
See, you love him?
Oh, yes.
I bet Mr. Gomez loves him a lot too.
Yes, he does. That's why we're trying to work out a mutual agreement.
All right.
As a child should have both parents.
I'm going to say this to help you along, okay? I'm going to say this to give you a little more emphasis on working things out. That baby needs a mommy and that baby needs a daddy. The problem is that mommy and daddy, maybe they've got their differences, but that's okay. You're adults. You know what you want in life. You know how to go get it. But you have a baby between the both of you. And I need Mr. Gomez to be the best daddy he can be. And I need mama to be the best mommy she can be and help each other be the best parents for that baby.
Yes, sir.
Okay?
Yes, sir.
Guys, best of luck to you. And Mr. Ramos, I suspect that sometime today you'll get an email or letter from Mr. Gomez, and you may file your motion to non-suit this case or whatever needs to be filed.
Understood, Your Honor. Well, actually, can I clarify that?
Yes, sir.
I intend to be filing a motion of withdrawal, Your Honor, and then I'll allow them to decide. I'm not sure if that agreement's going to require some sort of court order. That's why.
Well, you've got a case on file. Prior counsel has withdrawn. You're the counsel on the case. If you withdraw, that case is going to stay pending with the court. I would like maybe Ms. Beto and Mr. Gomez to each reach out, or Mr. Gomez to get Ms. Beto to acknowledge that they don't want this case filed any longer, if that's what they want.
Well, we'll still be going to get a custody order. We just don't need, we don't feel we need to go through it by attorney or getting temporary
but
orders.
What happens typically with those, Ms. Beto and Mr. Gomez, is that you go to the Attorney General's office, and sometimes they can get an agreement in the office, signed off, and then they file it with a court. But what I have in my court is a request for temporary orders. So I don't know if you guys want that to continue or not, but you can go to the AGs and work out an agreement with them at the office.
Okay.
Anyway, Ms. Beto, Mr. Gomez, best of luck. And guys, seriously, be the best mommy and daddy that you possibly can be.
Yes, sir.
Good luck to both of you.
Thank you.
Mr. Ramos, nothing further?
Your Honor, I do see my name on another case on the docket. I'll just go and wait for that case to be called.
I don't see your name on the docket anymore.
Okay,
oh, yeah,
Honor,
I see it now. Let me call F 5894-18-5 in the matter of the marriage of Abraham Tamayo and Perla Moreno Lara.
Good morning, Judge. Pete Espinosa for Abraham Tamayo.
Good morning, Mr. Espinosa. And Mr. Ramos, are you here on behalf of Ms. Perla Lara?
Well, Your Honor, Ms. Lara still hasn't retained my services for this modification. I just did see my name was still on the docket, so I wanted to clarify that.
I've got this on a TRO and a motion to modify a divorce decree.
That's correct.
It's a post-divorce modification, Your Honor.
How far post-divorce are we talking about?
Well, Judge, it's been less than a year. We filed our motion to modify with a proper affidavit as required by the Family Code. My understanding is Juan Ramos has not been retained by Ms. Moreno, but I do see her on the screen making her appearance. So if we could acknowledge her general appearance, and at this point we can proceed for another hearing, I guess, to.
Okay. Ms. Moreno, can you hear me okay?
Yes, Judge.
We have a case setting today for a temporary restraining order and a motion to modify a divorce decree. Mr. Ramos had been your attorney at one time, but he advises that he has not been retained for this case. Were you going to retain Mr. Ramos?
I had called their office to get some information regarding the thing that they followed against me. I haven't had a chance to.
I'm sorry, if I may too. If I can instruct Ms. Moreno, actually, she can go ahead and call my office today, and I'll talk to her about that. I just, I also want to, in all likelihood, I'll probably be on this case, but I just want to advise her so that way there's no further explanation of that, and we'll get working on this.
I've got Ms. Moreno on the screen. I've got Mr. Ramos, who may or may not end up being her attorney. I have Mr. Espinosa. Do you have Mr. Tamayo, Mr. Espinosa?
Don't know if he's appeared. I see another gentleman here. It doesn't look like Mr. Tamayo.
Okay, and briefly, Mr. Espinosa, what is it that you're attempting to restrain?
Judge, we had a geographic restriction that we're asking for. Our allegation is Ms. Moreno left the state with no notice to anybody. So my client, who's a dad, is wondering where are the kids and why did she leave? And so that was our restraining order, to restrict the geographic restriction until we can further resolve the issue.
Okay.
Your Honor, can I speak?
No. I want you to visit with Mr. Ramos, because you might say something that's not going to help you, and I'd rather you confer with Mr. Ramos, unless you don't want to talk to Mr. Ramos. Okay.
I mean, I can speak to Mr. Ramos as well, but as I'm gonna respond to Mr. Pete Espinosa, in my decree, it does not have any geographical restriction.
Okay, Ms. Moreno, I just wanted to get an idea of what Mr. Espinosa is bringing up. And your decree may not have a geographic restriction, but I'm sure your decree has something about Mr. Tamayo being able to visit the children?
Correct.
Okay, so sometimes people have to leave, but they talk to the other parent and say, look, I have to go to Virginia or whatever. I'm going to take the kids with me, and we'll make up your visitation when I get back in 3 weeks or whatever. I don't know what the situation is, but we need to proceed with caution, and I would much rather prefer you talk with Mr. Ramos and Mr. Espinosa. And Mr. Ramos, would it be okay if I move this hearing up about 10 days?
That's certainly fine with me. We'll make ourselves available, Your Honor.
Judge, if I may, will we be extending the TRO for 10 days?
Yes, the TRO, the ex parte will be extended until further order of this court. And I'm going to set this for hearing on the 26th of August at 10:30. And Mr. Espinosa and Mr. Ramos, I need you to sit down with Ms. Moreno and get the details and let her know what it is that Mr. Espinosa is requesting in the restraining order and the motion to modify. So you, Ms. Moreno, Mr. Ramos is going to need to visit with you and get the details. And then he's going to have to visit with Mr. Espinosa, and maybe something can be worked out. Okay, we're going to have another hearing August 26th at 10:30. Temporary ex parte order remains in full effect.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Nothing further at this time?
Nothing further, Judge.
No,
Okay.
Nothing further for myself as well, Your Honor.
Thank you. All of you be safe. Take care.
Can we be excused?
You too, Judge.
Yes, yes. Ms. Tina, court is going to call F 33-58-25 in the matter of the marriage of Sostenes Ocañas versus Florentina Lopez. Ms. Lopez, can you hear me?
Sí, aquí estoy. Y
Are you-
ayúdame.
Permítame tantito. Are you Mr. Ocañas?
Aquí estoy, señor juez.
Ok. Permítame tantito,
Ayúdame,
Ms.
papá.
López. Ms. López,
Aquí estoy.
espéreme. Are you Mr. Ocañas?
¿Perdón?
No, le pregunto al señor que si él es el señor Ocañas. Tengo un señor en la pantalla.
Sí, soy, sir. Yes, sir.
Ok. Ms. López, ¿entiende español? Digo, ¿entiende inglés?
Prefiero en español, sir, por favor.
Ok. Mr. Ocañas, ¿entiende inglés?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is this a divorce?
Yes, sir.
All right. Mr. Ocañas, Ms. Lopez, I'm going to ask you to raise your right hand. Levanten su mano derecha. Ms. Lopez, lo voy a preguntar en inglés y luego se lo voy a traducir al español. Each one of you solemnly swore to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
All right. Ms. López, ¿jura usted solemnemente decir la verdad, toda la verdad y nada más que la verdad?
Sí, señor.
Yes, I do. Pueden bajar la mano. You may put your hand down. Mr. Ocañas, acting as your own attorney in cause number F 335825, did you file a petition seeking a divorce?
Yes, sir.
And you are presently married to Florentina Lopez?
That is correct. Yes, sir.
All right. Ms. López, le pregunto al señor Ocañas que si actuando como su propio abogado, él sentó documentos pidiendo un divorcio de Florentina López y me dice que sí. Ok.
Correcto.
Le voy a seguir haciendo preguntas al señor Ocañas y se las traduzco a usted.
Gracias.
Mr. Ocañas, before you filed this divorce, had you lived in Texas at least 6 months and in Hidalgo County at least 3 months?
Yes, sir.
Ok. Se requiere, Ms. López, y le pregunté al señor Ocañas que si antes de archivar esta demanda de divorcio, vivía en el estado de Texas mínimo 6 meses y en el condado de Hidalgo mínimo 3 meses. Me responde que sí. Okay. Has your marriage become insupportable because of discord or conflict of personalities that destroys the legitimate ends of the marriage relationship? Conflict
Yes,
of
sir.
personalities?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any expectation of reconciliation?
No, sir.
Okay. Ms. López, le pregunto que si archivó la demanda de divorcio por conflicto de personalidades, me indica que sí. Le pregunto al señor que si hay alguna esperanza de reconciliación y me dice que no. Mr. Ocañas, did you and Ms. López have any children together?
No, sir.
Le pregunto que si tuvieron hijos y me dice que no. Did you adopt any children?
No, sir.
¿Adoptaron algún hijo? Dice que no. Is Ms. López expecting at this time?
No, sir.
Le pregunto a Ms. López que si usted está esperando o embarazada. Me dice que no. ¿Así es?
Correcto.
Ok. Cuando hay hijos menores en un matrimonio hay que hacer ciertos arreglos y por eso tengo que preguntar. Okay, Mr. Ocañas, did you and Ms. Lopez purchase any real estate?
No, sir.
Le pregunto al señor que si compraron bienes, una propiedad, y me dice que no. Mr. Ocañas, are you asking this court to award the personal property to the party in possession? Or what you have is yours and what she has is hers?
What she's got is hers and what's mine is mine. Yes, sir.
Okay. Ms. Ocañas, do you have anything that belongs to Ms. Lopez?
As far as I know, no. No.
Okay. Ms. López, le pregunto al señor que si usted pide también que la corte le entregue a usted, o sea, que usted sea la dueña de su propiedad personal, o sea, su ropa, su joyería, X, lo que usted tiene que sea suyo.
Perdón, no entendí la pregunta.
Que si quiere usted que la corte ordene que la propiedad personal de cada persona sea o se le entregue a cada persona. No quiere que le quite la ropa suya para dársela al señor, ¿verdad?
Oh, no, no, correcto. No, no,
Okay.
no.
Usted quiere ser la dueña de su propiedad personal.
Claro que sí.
Y le pregunté al señor y le pregunto a usted. Le pregunté al señor Ocañas que si él tiene algo que le pertenece a usted y dice que él cree que no. Y le pregunto a usted, ¿usted tiene algo que le pertenece al señor?
No, nada.
Okay. Court will order personal property to the party in possession. Mr. Ocañas, did you and Ms. Lopez incur any debt together? A Visa card, a MasterCard, anything like that?
No, sir. Nothing.
Are you asking this court to order the debts to the party that incurred them? If you want to, okay, if you have a loan for you, you want to be the owner of that loan and be responsible for repaying it, correct?
That is correct. Yes, sir.
Okay. Ms. López, le pregunto al señor López que si tienen cuentas pendientes entre los dos y me dice que no.
Correcto.
Okay. So, desde el día que se separaron, si usted sacó una tarjeta MasterCard, le pertenece esa cuenta a usted, igual para el señor, ¿de acuerdo? Yes, we agree. All right. Mr. Ocañas, are you asking this court to grant your divorce?
Yes, sir.
Le pregunto al señor que si quiere que la corte le dé el divorcio y dice que sí. Ms. López, ¿usted también quiere el divorcio?
Claro que sí.
Okay. Mr. Ocañas, Ms. López, you are divorced. Ya están divorciados. But I need a decree of divorce, Mr. Ocañas. Who helped you draft the petition for divorce?
I had hired a notary, but then all of a sudden he disappeared. So me and her have been doing it.
All right. The petition for divorce is where you are asking for the divorce.
Yes, sir.
The decree of divorce is what the court signs saying you're divorced. Since you have no children and no real estate and no debts, it should be a fairly simple document. You might even be able to pull something up on the computer, but I need a decree of divorce or a final divorce decree, whatever they label it as. But I need that. Monday?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I need to sign that because until I sign it, you are still married, okay? Even though I pronounced the divorce, I need to sign it because if I don't get it within a little time period, Mr. Ocañas, this case is going to come up for review and I'm going to dismiss it like it was never granted, okay?
Okay, sir.
In other words, hurry up.
You got it, sir.
Decree of divorce. Ms. López, le explico al señor Ocañas que ya pronuncié el divorcio, pero el detalle es en que necesito firmar el decreto de divorcio, la orden de divorcio. Y le digo y le explico al señor Ocañas que no va a ser problemática porque en este divorcio no hay hijos, no hay propiedades, no hay cuentas, pero necesito finalizar el divorcio con la firma de la corte en un decreto de divorcio. Y le explico al señor Ocañas que después de un placito de tiempo, este caso se va a quedar pendiente si no firmo esa orden. Y en 4, 5, 3, 6 meses van a revisar y si todavía está pendiente y no ha firmado, van a retractar la demanda y todavía no va a haber divorcio. So, le digo al señor que no se tarde mucho tiempo para finalizar. Necesito el documento ese preparado.
¿Puedo hacer una pregunta?
Dígame.
¿Cuánto tiempo se tarda esto para yo poder tener una copia, una prueba de mi divorcio?
Ok. Le voy a pedir al señor que me prepare el documento ese y se puede meter en la computadora y encontrar el decreto de divorcio y modificarlo. Ahí le pone que no hay niños, que no hay propiedades, que no hay cuentas y me la entrega. Al recibirla yo, la reviso, la firmo y le mandamos, si tengo la dirección del señor Ocañas, que la debo de tener, y tengo la dirección de la señora López, le mandamos una, ¿ok? Pero es bueno tener para que ya sepan que ya se acabó esto.
Sí, una pregunta, señor juez.
Dígame.
Me gustaría, ¿verdad? Que tener esa copia en mi archivo, porque yo estoy arreglando algunos documentos legales que es muy importante para mí y que me la están exigiendo.
Ok. ¿Todavía vive en el 522 Sur 28?
Correcto.
¿Aquí en Limburgo?
Sí.
Ok. Tan pronto como el señor Ocañas prepare ese documento y lo firmamos, la secretaría le manda una copia a usted y una copia al señor Ocañas.
Ok.
Y digo yo, es algo importante tener en sus archivos personales.
Claro, sí.
So, Mr. Ocañas, how long do you think it'll take you to get that document to the court?
I should have it. If it's in like computer, like you said, I should have it within a couple of days at the most.
Yeah, it's not going to be a very hard document to prepare, Mr. Ocañas. Like I said, no kids, no debts, no property.
Yes, sir.
So if you file it, it'll come to the court I'll sign it and the clerk will send a copy to you and a copy to Ms. Lopez.
Alrighty, sir.
¿Cuánto tiempo estuvieron casados?
Mucho.
¿Cuánto fue mucho?
Pues estuvimos casados como 10 años, parece.
Sí.
Más o menos.
And les pregunto, ¿se hablan bien?
Claro que sí. Yes, sir.
Claro que sí, señor juez.
Le digo a las parejas, y se los voy a decir a ustedes, Mr. Ocañas y Miss López.
Sí.
Está bueno que no quieren ser esposo y esposa, pero no hay problemas en ser amigos, ¿ok? Háblense
Así
bien,
es.
mírense bien, deséanse lo mejor para uno y el otro.
Claro que sí, señor juez. Yo siempre
Ok.
le he deseado lo mejor al señor Ocañas. Lo aprecio y lo amo en el amor de Cristo.
Gracias. Mr. Ocañas,
Yes,
Miss
sir.
López, cuídense mucho. Está fea la situación. So
Claro que
cuídense y I'll be looking for the document.
You got it,
Muchas
sir.
gracias, señor juez.
Bye bye.
Gracias.
Que Dios lo bendiga. Gracias.
Igualmente, cuídense.
Gracias. Muy amable.